Walk into any auto parts store in America, and the oil aisle looks more patriotic than it really is. Red, white, blue, chrome, racing stripes, flags, old muscle cars, pickup trucks, desert heat, snow-covered highways, and promises of protection that sound like they were written for a V8 pulling a trailer through Wyoming. The shelf feels American before you even read the back of the bottle. But the closer you look, the more complicated that shelf becomes. Some of the most familiar names are American by memory, global by ownership, global by supply chain, and sometimes global by production. That does not automatically make them bad oils. It just means the story on the label is smaller than the story behind it. Synthetic oil became one of those products where trust matters more than almost anything else. Most drivers never see what the oil is doing. They pour it in, tighten the cap, reset the maintenance light, and hope the engine stays quiet for another 5 or 10,000 miles. So the brand has to carry a lot of weight. For decades, Mobil 1 carried more of that weight than almost anyone. It was the bottle people associated with Corvettes, Porsches, NASCAR, garage credibility, and the idea that synthetic oil had moved from exotic to normal. ExxonMobil itself traces Mobil 1's story back to the early 1970s, with the brand commercially introduced in the United States in 1974, after earlier development and release in Europe. That history is real. The problem is what people assume history means. A brand can be born in America and still become a global product. A brand can be owned by an American corporation and still be manufactured in multiple regions. A bottle can sit on a shelf in Ohio and carry the emotional power of American motorsports, while the larger manufacturing network behind that name stretches far beyond American soil. Exxon and Mobil joined together in 1999 to form ExxonMobil Corporation, a merger the company itself describes as a move to compete globally in a volatile industry. That global scale matters because Mobil 1 is no longer just an American garage story. ExxonMobil announced in 2015 that it was expanding operations in Jurong, Singapore, to produce synthetic lubricants, including Mobil 1, and ExxonMobil Singapore now describes its lubricant plant as the company's largest in Asia-Pacific for greases, and its flagship Mobil 1 engine oil, serving Singapore and more than 30 countries and territories. For the driver, the oil can still be excellent. For the buyer who cares about American manufacturing, the answer gets less simple. This is where the oil aisle becomes a lesson in modern branding. Mobil 1 does not need to pretend it is small. Its strength comes from scale, engineering, automaker approvals, distribution, and the ability to serve markets around the world. That is why the brand appears everywhere, from local Walmart shelves to high-end performance partnerships. Yet that same strength is the reason the old emotional shortcut becomes shaky. When people say they want an American synthetic oil, they often mean something more specific than corporate headquarters. They mean a product whose identity, formulation control, blending, packaging, and manufacturing footprint remain rooted in the United States. Under that stricter lens, the field narrows fast. The point is not that every other oil on the shelf is inferior. The point is that American can mean several different things. It can mean invented here. It can mean owned here. It can mean blended here. It can mean packaged here. It can mean the company discloses enough that a buyer can actually verify the claim. The Federal Trade Commission treats unqualified Made in USA claims seriously, requiring that a product advertised that way be all or virtually all made in the United States. In motor oil, that standard becomes tricky because base oils, additives, packaging, brand ownership, and final blending can move through different companies before the bottle reaches a shelf.
The first name that still fits the old-school American synthetic story is AMSOIL. It is the brand that feels like it came from a different era of selling oil, because it did. Its founder, Al Amatuzio, built the company around synthetic lubrication when the average driver still thought synthetic oil sounded suspicious. AMSOIL says its 10W40 synthetic motor oil became the world's first synthetic motor oil to meet American Petroleum Institute's service requirements in 1972, years before most drivers understood why synthetic oil mattered. That gives AMSOIL a claim Mobil 1 cannot simply erase with scale. AMSOIL's American claim is also unusually direct. The company says its synthetic lubricants are formulated, blended, and packaged in the United States, and it frames that decision as a deliberate choice rather than an accident of history. That language is important because it goes beyond vague patriotism. It does not merely say the company is American, it points to the actual work that turns raw materials into finished bottles. In a market full of outsourced identity, that kind of specificity is valuable. AMSOIL also represents a very American business model, the kind built through independent dealers, enthusiasts, and people who like to talk about oil analysis the way others talk about barbecue rubs or boat engines. The company's dealer network began in the 1970s when synthetic oil was still expensive and strange to many customers. That matters because AMSOIL was forced to sell through explanation. It had to teach people why oil could last longer, protect better under heat, and justify a higher price. Big brands could win with shelf space. AMSOIL had to win in conversations. That does not mean AMSOIL is magic. No oil should be treated like a personality test. The correct oil still depends on viscosity, specification, engine condition, warranty requirements, driving pattern, and manufacturer approvals. API licensing exists because modern oils must meet performance categories that vehicle and engine manufacturers rely on, and API's engine oil program audits licensed products for physical, chemical, labeling, and performance consistency. But within the world of American synthetic brands, AMSOIL stands out because its story, manufacturing claim, and product identity all point in the same direction. The second name is Schaefer's, and it brings a different kind of credibility. Schaefer's manufacturing company goes back to 1839 in St. Louis, Missouri, where the company says it is still located today. This is not the loudest brand on the consumer shelf, and that is part of the point. Schaefer's feels less like a retail celebrity and more like a working company that spent generations selling to fleets, farms, construction, trucking, industrial users, and people who buy oil because downtime costs money. Schaefer's publishes U.S. addresses for its home office in St. Louis, Missouri, and manufacturing plants in St. Louis, Missouri, and DuQuoin, Illinois. Its catalog includes synthetic motor oils, hydraulic fluids, greases, and diesel fuel additives, which places it in a world where lubrication is less about weekend enthusiasm and more about machinery surviving long days under load. That industrial background gives the brand a different texture. It is less glossy than Mobil 1, less boutique racing than Redline, and less retail color-coded than Royal Purple. It feels like a company that never needed to become a household name to remain relevant. That's why Schaefer's belongs in this conversation. The brand's American identity is tied to continuity. It did not become a familiar name because a global energy giant placed it in every big box store. It survived by serving customers who often measure oil in drums, cases, and maintenance schedules rather than impulse purchases. In the oil world, quiet survival can say as much as advertising. A company that has been around since before the Civil War has watched whale oil, mineral oil, additive chemistry, synthetic base stocks, emissions equipment, turbochargers, direct injection, and hybrid drivetrains reshape the meaning of lubrication. Staying relevant through all of that requires more than a nice label.
The third name is Royal Purple, and its case is the most visually unforgettable. There are oils you recognize by the logo, and then there is Royal Purple, a brand built around the fact that the oil itself looks different. That color helped it stand out in a category where most products are amber liquid in plastic bottles. But the color would have been a gimmick if the company had not paired it with a performance identity. Royal Purple says its facility is located in Porter, Texas, and produces a wide range of high-performance lubricants for consumer and commercial applications. Royal Purple also shows how American-made claims can survive ownership changes, as long as the production footprint remains clear. Calumet announced in 2025 that it would retain ownership of the Porter, Texas manufacturing site and the consumer portion of the Royal Purple business, including key automotive products such as high-performance motor oil, HPS, HMX, MaxKeer, XPR, and Duralex Super. That detail matters because Royal Purple has been through corporate change. It is no longer just the scrappy original story people remember from older enthusiast circles. Yet the Porter facility gives the brand a verifiable domestic anchor. Royal Purple's place in the synthetic oil world is also cultural. It became a brand people argued about. Some swore by it, some thought it was overhyped, some bought it because it looked different, some avoided it for the same reason. That kind of division is actually useful in a documentary story because it shows how oil brands become identities. People rarely argue that passionately about washer fluid. They argue about oil because oil stands between trust and mechanical failure, and because many drivers see their vehicle as the last machine in their life they still understand with their hands. Then there is Redline, the name that complicates the clean story. For years, many enthusiasts would have placed Redline comfortably in this group. It was founded in California, known for racing, ester-based formulations, gear oils, transmission fluids, and the kind of reputation that spreads through garages rather than mass advertising. Redline's own public-facing materials continue to emphasize its origin in 1979 and its performance identity, while Phillips 66 lists Redline among its brands today. Phillips 66 agreed to acquire Spectrum Corporation, a specialty lubricants company connected to Redline, in 2014. Redline is still important, it still has passionate users, but its story has moved away from the simplest version of small American synthetic oil company. Once a brand becomes part of a larger corporate lubricant portfolio, the buyer has to work harder to know what is being made where, which lines are original formulations, which products are being distributed through a larger system, and how the old boutique identity translates into the present. That does not make Redline unworthy, it makes the claim less clean for anyone trying to separate American manufacturing from American memory. This is the same reason other names can confuse the discussion. Lucas Oil is American-led and lists a manufacturing facility in Corydon, Indiana. Amalie is family-owned, based in Tampa, and sells synthetic products marked Made in USA on product literature. Valvoline has deep American roots, yet Aramco completed the acquisition of Valvoline's global products business in 2023. Pennzoil and Quaker State carry American nostalgia, yet Shell acquired Pennzoil Quaker State in 2002. Castrol has a huge U.S. presence, but it has long been a global lubricant brand under BP. That's why the cleaner documentary answer focuses on 3 brands whose synthetic identity and domestic production story remain easiest to defend in a consumer-facing way. Amsoil is the synthetic pioneer with a direct, formulated, blended, and packaged in the United States claim. Schaefer's is the old St. Louis manufacturer with domestic plants and a working lubricant reputation. Royal Purple is the performance brand with a continuing Porter, Texas manufacturing anchor. Each one has a different personality. One is the evangelist, one is the industrial survivor, one is the colorful performance specialist.
Mobil 1 sits outside that group for a different reason. It is still one of the most important synthetic motor oil brands ever sold. Many engines have lived long, clean lives on Mobil 1. The brand has earned its place through real performance, real standards, and real automaker relationships. But the American story attached to Mobil 1 has become broader, more corporate, and more global. It is American-born, internationally manufactured, and supported by one of the largest energy companies on Earth. That is a very different thing from buying oil from a company whose core manufacturing identity remains visibly domestic. For most drivers, this distinction may change nothing. If the owner's manual calls for a certain viscosity and specification, and a major oil meets that requirement, the engine does not care about nostalgia. A modern 0W20 full synthetic that meets the proper API and automaker requirements can protect a commuter engine extremely well. The API itself advises vehicle owners to follow owner manuals and recognizes current oil categories such as API SP and ILSAC GF6 for modern gasoline engines. Buying oil based only on patriotism, color, or forum loyalty can become expensive theater if the bottle does not match what the engine actually needs. But for a certain buyer, the label matters because it represents a vote. That buyer remembers when American manufacturing meant towns, plants, skilled workers, and companies whose reputations were tied to what they physically made. In that context, choosing Amsoil, Schaefer's, or Royal Purple becomes more than a technical decision. It becomes a preference for traceability. The buyer is asking a simple question that many modern brands would rather soften with marketing. Where is this made? Who controls it? And how much of the story on the front of the bottle survives the fine print on the back? That is the real lesson hiding in the oil aisle. The biggest brand is not always the most local. The oldest memory is not always the current reality. The most patriotic packaging is not always the clearest manufacturing story. And the best oil for an engine is not automatically the one with the strongest emotional pull. In a market built on trust, the serious buyer has to read past the front label. Mobil 1 helped make synthetic oil normal. That achievement deserves respect, but respect is different from assumption. The synthetic oil market has changed, and the meaning of American has changed with it. Today, the more honest map of the shelf looks like this. Mobil 1 remains a global powerhouse with American roots. AMSOIL remains the synthetic pioneer with a direct domestic formulation and packaging claim. Schaefer's remains the old manufacturing survivor from St. Louis.